Hey, welcome. This is Roger's Hot Rod Garage. We'll get to the 914 in just a couple of minutes. This is the new Hero 10 Black camera, which I'm going to be doing my pictures and my filming on. I also have a new video editing program upstairs, along with a new computer, hence why I haven't posted anything later. It's a whole lot of stuff that's happened since the beginning of the year. So look what we're doing today. This is the 914 steering column, obviously. This right here is the one that showed up in the mail from a buddy of mine, and it is with a key, but it's a 1973, so obviously that's not going to work. I could re-drill the holes right here and put the thing back together, but it's not the right one. And since I don't have the right one, I'm going to take the one that I got with the car in pieces, because it's the longer version one. And plus the drive shaft actually fits in here, not the drive shaft, but the steering shaft. So all this works. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna modify this one to make it a 914-6, where the key ignition is not here on the side. It's actually gonna be a little bit to the left of the steering column in the actual dashboard. I think that's a cool feature. So by doing that, I finally had enough courage to take this sucker apart, and here's why. But I wrote everything down, took pictures with my camera so I can reassemble it, but that's basically the turn signal stuff, the flash to pass right here, and there's one wire in here. Where do I got it? It's the one with the little terminal end on it. That's for the actual horn relay button. So all the stuff goes back together. That's not that big of a deal. But check this out. Enough structural integrity here. Once I hack that thing off, I'll fill this in right here, and then just cover this up with a little sheet of Bondo, and it'll be flat right here, and I'll have gotten rid of this. So while I'm doing that, I went ahead and got this from eBay USA. And what this does for me, maybe if it works, I'm not really that excited about it if it doesn't. You push the button right here, the light turns green and it starts, and then you push the button again and it shuts off with this little bitty mini module right here. Look, 30 bucks. If it doesn't work, I'll use it on some other project right now, but this actually works. This showed up from Summit Racing. Obviously goes on the end right here. That actually already fits. This is what I hacked off. I'm not going to need that. Move over here. This is the exhaust system out of stainless steel I've been fabricating. And check this out. So this is eBay Germany, and I think it's like 25 euros, which is like 28, 30 bucks. You can't get it cheaper than that from summitracing.com. All these little Mandarin bell pieces I got right here from Summit Racing. Not going to use them all. What I did do is I made myself these right here. You see that in another video. And I'm not going to actually be having space to put those, I guess they call them isolators or vibration dampeners. Now check this out. Moving over here, I have the exhaust up in here. I believe these are a Chrysler or a Jeep product. I just like them because they came out here and then came out down here. Now everything's just mocked up right now. Look, you can take that out. But if you look in there, that's where it's going to come out. What I didn't want to do is use the current band clamps that I have in there. So I got those other pieces, and those of course will be TIG welded stainless steel. I'm going to come straight down here and then go straight into the exhaust manifold on the bottom, which I've already got the flanges cut for. So all that stuff fits. But moving on around here, I've got the carpet out right here just real quick, because I've got to fabricate myself some exhaust muffler hangers, and got my metal pieces right here. Got myself some stock. Probably not going to use these, but I'm definitely going to use these in the back right here, and then weld myself a little piece up in here, or I can drill a hole with some carriage bolts, put them through right down here. And if you see on this particular side, the exhaust system comes out right here too. So I've got basically a left and a right. I'm not going to do a crossover on this thing. I think it sounds a little bit better without it, and I got plenty of horsepower, so I'm not really that worried about it. So that's the plan right now. If you look in the interior right now, the interior is gone to the upholstery shop. That includes the side panels right there. It's just going to be a simple covering on those, but check this out. So my speakers are right here. I've already got those. It'll be Mac Audios. The tweeters will be right here. And then also I had to move this one back. I think this one's 28 millimeters, but everything works right now. The door's shut up. I've got my Dynamat back here. This right here is completely mounted in, and it'll shift. What you don't see is I built myself a center console covered it with the black carpeting, and now it's going to be a little dash cover right here that flips up and down, just like in the Nomad in the other video. So that's it right now. One thing I'll show you, about 2 weeks ago, walking through the German neighborhood, and they actually throw stuff on the side of the road. It's called Sperrmüll, which means trash on the side of the road. It's like collection day. They do it like once a quarter. And somebody left this old cabinet outside along with a whole bunch of other stuff. So, look at that, round glass. Put myself a couple of doubles up there, screwed it to the wall, and man, I love stuff like this. Check this out. Little cars. This is all the stuff out here I made myself. Probably this one I made, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 years ago. I'm not quite sure. Wait a minute. 1991. So do the math on that. And then some of the stuff I bought at flea markets. Anyway, so just check this out. I love little detail stuff like this. And come down here. And come down here. This is like show and tell. I think I told you guys in YouTube land I actually failed kindergarten because my dad was in Vietnam during that time. But he had a talk with the teacher. And I got to go to the first grade back in 1971. That dates myself. But anyway, let me put the camera down for a second, start hacking on this thing, and then show you guys some progress in a couple of minutes. Bye. All right, so got that thing hacked off. I know it doesn't look pretty right now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill up this right here with a little piece of aluminum, flat aluminum, and I'll cut it in here, and don't hate me for this, but I'm gonna JB weld this in here. I got all this structure right here for strength, so I'm just covering up basically the keyhole slot for the ignition that I just cut off of here, and it'll be super smooth. I went ahead and smoothed down the other side right here for that ridge right here, and improve on what Porsche did 44 years ago, 45 years ago. Anyway, that's it. Check this out. Actually worked out a little bit easier than I thought it was. There's my little fish that I cut out. It looks like it's about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more of aluminum. And I just got this thing wedged up in here right now. And the rest of that, I'm actually going to put JB weld up in here. Again, it's not a structural piece. And go from there. And then I've got myself a 914/6 keyless steering column. All right, for this last little section on the steering column, I have completely deleted that side. You see a little bit of that piece that I put in right here. JB weld is below. That's actually the structural holding of it, just the plate. And then I just did one little swipe of Bondo on the low areas right there. You can see that. And now it's just a matter of, you always get a piece of paper and put underneath here, so if you do have a little bit of oil or something on your workbench, you're not gonna get those fish eyes. And this is 600 grit paper, just back and forth. All right, so what I just did here is cut off exactly 9 millimeters, which is this width right here, of the end of the, I guess it's kind of like a pilot, and it's bearing on the other end. So I got this thing all cleaned up so I didn't have to take it back apart. I took my time with this nice little 1 millimeter cutoff wheel, which if you do 9 millimeters and 1 millimeter, you got 10 millimeters, which is exactly the distance this thing right here told me to measure it at. And now this right here will slide all the way up against there and close this gap up right here. And the gap still has to be a little bit because I got to put my horn brass back in here. So don't judge me on this. I think it'll actually work. If not, I've screwed myself up. Oh, by the way, I'll show you this when I actually completely deleted the ignition switch on this side over here, and you saw that earlier in the video. So it looked actually pretty good, and then I flat blacked it. Take care. All right, I've been known to screw up things really bad, so this is my router. Perfectly fine to cut aluminum with it. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go in here and clean out just a little bit of this section right down here. And I got the other side, I got plenty, I've got like meat on there. So the plan is to take whatever this distance is right here, it looks like about 8 millimeters, something like that. And then to take this and push it right here. Either I'm screwing something up really, really bad here, or I've got mismatched parts because apparently 70, 73, all these little subtle differences. Like I found that on the doors. That's an early door. This is an early door. I have one with a crank regulator that looks like a scissors, and I have one that runs on a wire. So again, lesson to self, never buy a car that's completely apart. And what I mean by that, it's okay to buy a car that comes out of a garage and it's in boxes. That means you've got all the right parts, but that's another issue too, because if I take it apart, I know how to put it back together. But in this particular case, I'm having to modify all kinds of crap and figure it out myself as I go. Anyway, so let me get cranked up on this thing and weed this thing out a little bit. I only got to take out just a little bit right up in here with the router. So, who needs a CNC machine? But in reality, as I was thinking about it, you know what? I went to the Summit Racing website. I think it was also Flaming River, or the Momo website. And I think what I've done here, I think I actually ordered the wrong adapter. Again, it goes back to that 1970, 1971, 1974. And I'll guarantee you if I go on there, I probably got the wrong year on this one, which is okay because this is not a structural piece right here. This is just covering the actual blinker assembly. So I'm not worried about it, but I don't think I screwed up. I think what I actually did is I just got the wrong adapter. So I made this adapter work with this by doing this little bitty chop off right here, wherever that piece is at. And I'll get to it. There it is right there. So this right here now allows this nut to go all the way down here. So that's pretty cool. Figured it out. Got a lot of sawdust down here / aluminum foil.